10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Movie Chat, presented by Press Play Streaming Studios. We invite you to join us for a lighthearted, sometimes comedic take on movies, TV, and all things pop culture. Sit back, have fun, and press play. Hello, how's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to Movie Chat. My name is Alan, and I'm here at the Press Play Streaming Studios. And tonight we have a very exciting night. We're going to be talking about Loki, both episodes 1 and 2. If you're afraid of spoilers because you haven't seen it yet, then please know that we're going to probably be doing some spoilers tonight. But we are definitely also wanting you to be in the room. So definitely put some chats in, talk to us, and keep us going. As you know, if you've watched any of my past broadcasts, I normally have a co-host here. His name is Stefan. Stefan unfortunately had a prior engagement that he could not break tonight. So I've been lucky enough to be joined by DJ. DJ, welcome to the chat, sir. How are you today?
Man, it is a fantastic evening to talk about some Loki.
I tell you what, I'm up for talking Loki or Star Wars just any day of the week. And Marvel's my gig, man. I've been watching Marvel since, of course, Iron Man, but I've been reading the comics off and on since I was a kid, and I'm a huge X-Men fan.
Oh, absolutely. It's I remember I guess it was the 80s cartoon or maybe early 90s cartoon, the animated one. And, so good.
Great.
So I follow Star Wars. Big Harry Potter fan as well. Anything that's pop culture, I'm in it. So I'm excited.
I'm in it as well. You know what's funny is I've never really been that big of a Harry Potter fan. I know that sounds really weird because of all the things that I do love. And it was funny because I was always like, I'm just not into all the wizardry stuff. But now here I am saying that Wanda is one of my favorite characters. How does that happen, right? So real quick, we've got in the chat right now, we've got Dave likes Star Wars. Dave, welcome to the channel, Press Play Studios. We appreciate you being here. And then, of course, DJ at Red 4. So now real quick, DJ, can you see the chats as they're coming through or only when I post them?
No, I can see them coming through. I have it up on YouTube, so I do a split screen so I can see the chats in YouTube and Excellent. I can see anything else that we got going on too.
Excellent. I love it. That's fantastic. Just keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, when you come into the chat, be sure to go down below and do the three things, right? Marvel says there's three things, right? There's androids, aliens, and wizards. But here on YouTube, it's subscribe, like, and comment. So keep us in mind. It really does help the chat out. Through the night tonight, I'll also be displaying across the bottom a little way to contact us with show suggestions. So we will have our Twitter account as well as our email account ready to go. And we've got more comments coming in. So tell me, I've got Mar in the chat room. Hello, Mar. It's great to see you tonight. Hopefully you're having a wonderful evening as well. So tell me, DJ, what are you thinking about Loki so far?
Man, the first one was great. Absolutely loved it. I plugged right into it, and I'm like, oh wow, this is amazing. And then I started thinking, I'm like, what if it just goes downhill from here? And and WandaVision, I liked. It started off a little slow, and as it grew, I got into it more and more. Falcon and Winter Soldier, the same thing. The first one was good, then it kind of backed off a little bit for me, and then by the end, I was completely invested.
Okay.
This one, by the end of the first episode, I was 100% invested.
I was hooked.
And I was like, wow, how are they going to top this? And they did. Episode 2 was absolutely fantastic. My mind started what's going on?
I got all the wheels turning and the smoke coming out of the ears.
Yes.
So all right. So here, let me tell you, WandaVision, going into WandaVision, well, first of all, I have to back up. I made this comment real quickly. I think it was last week's stream. Someone had brought up WandaVision, and Stefan, my co-host, and I, we've seen every Marvel release since Iron Man. So we've, as far as going to the theater together to see them. When that scene came up in the after credits with Quicksilver flashing around, and they didn't say who he was, and you see the girl, you see Wanda at the time, but she's floating the discs with the red around them. I literally went, "Oh my god!" And my son's like, "What?" And Stefan's like, "What?" I'm like, "That's Wanda. That's the Scarlet Witch, right?" So saw you on Nerd Theory and checked out your. Oh, thanks, Dave. I like that. Appreciate it very much. If you guys don't know, there's a great channel out there on the web for anyone who's a Marvel fan and a Star Wars fan. It's Nerd Theory. Nerd Theory is the combination of Star Wars theory. Right, and the Nerd Vengers. So yeah, they're a great channel. Anyway, so I was like, thanks, Dave. I appreciate you subbing, buddy. So I was like this. When it came to WandaVision, I was kind of hooked early. The first couple episodes, only because in my head I'm going, okay, this is Marvel. This is going to go somewhere, right? So I was invested. By the time they brought in Spectrum / Photon, and you kind of started right there, I get up at 5 a.m. to go to work in the morning.
Yeah,
I was setting my clock for 4 so I could watch WandaVision before I'd go because I didn't want any spoilers. I was just caught. And then when it came to, but I will tell you this: there were some things about WandaVision that kind of ticked me off. But I understand why they ticked me off, so I'm okay with it. And I also will say that when it come to Falcon and Winter Soldier, I was more disappointed than I was excited.
Okay.
And the reason being is and we can't really go into detail. There was a lot of things that went on behind the scenes, especially with the big panda, that made the both Wanda and Falcon Winter Soldier have to augment their stories a little bit.
Okay.
What they were planning on doing originally with WandaVision, and I'm sorry, with Falcon, would have been tremendous. But when her mentor died, she was supposed to die of this disease that was spreading because of the camp.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So there was a lot more to it, and it went a lot more in depth. Right. And while I will say that I love the new Captain America outfit, I was like, it's so bomb, And when Wakanda makes the wings, so we've got the vibranium, we've got the shield. I'm like, all right, I'm ready for you in the future. But everything up to that, other than the Russell. Playing the U.S. Patriot, I thought he was great also, and of course Bucky's always great.
Yeah.
But story wise, I was disappointed. Dave, who likes Star Wars, says he was disappointed as well with Falcon and Winter Soldier. The only thing that kept me watching it was Bucky because he's my favorite. You can't not like Bucky. You can't. And I tell you what, I thought Nemo actually carried that show for a long time.
He really surprised me in that one. I was very impressed with the way that he was written. So yeah, and I can definitely see your points on that. And I don't know if it's just because I didn't know the backstory and didn't know a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff. I thought it flowed okay. There are a few things here and there. I think if I remember right, they pieced 3 comics together in order to make the show,
which is okay.
Yeah, it's all right, but there's always going to be something that's left out or something that's expanded that's not in the comics, and it is like me,
going all the way back to X-Men Year One, and seeing all what Fox was doing, I was like so excited that I'm like, wait a minute, this part would have been so much better. But they can't do that, And Marvel's really good about taking. And I think we'll get into this a little bit more once we dive headfirst into Loki. They're really good about taking characters in the MCU and melding two together, and I think that's one of the reasons why they are so good with this. Okay, so now we move on to Loki, and to be honest with you, at first I was like, I love Loki. I love Hiddleston. I think he's a great actor. I think he plays the part better than anyone else. And when I heard that he sat down with the writers and said, hey, this is what the character would be, right? They're getting that. Who's going to know how to be Loki more than the guy who's been Loki for 10 years, right? Yeah. And to help on that end of it, I knew that we had something special going, but at first I was like, it's, what can they do? Episode 1, like you said, man, they, to use a fishing analogy, they put the lure out there, and man, I bit it hard. I bit it hard. At this point, I'm on that line, and they're dragging me in because I'm telling you what, I didn't think. I was really afraid that it was going to be like Falcon, and we were going to have that tremendous first episode, and then the second episode was going to be a step down. And it didn't. It jumped. Hold on a second. A little off topic. I knew this was going to happen when I saw Dave like Star Wars. A little off topic, but what are y'all more excited about, Ahsoka or Obi-Wan? Dave, is it okay with you if we hold on to that for just a few minutes? We can, as far as I'm concerned, we can go anywhere we want tonight. We can go into Star Wars. We can talk about the boys if you want to. I don't care. I do want to talk a little bit about Loki, though, just because I've been advertising Loki. So let's get through some of that, and then we'll open it up and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Is that fair? So anyway, so that first episode really hooked me hard. I've heard a lot of people complaining that they thought that it was too much exposition. What do you think?
And I heard that too. That there's too much talking, not a lot of action. And I'm like, well, you have to understand. They're setting the table. Not only are they setting the table for this show, but they're setting the table for the future of Phase 4. I mean, you have all these feature-length movies that are coming out that, we're going to know a little bit of what's going on, as you said, behind the scenes, because we're going to have Loki and WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, that people that don't either get Disney Plus or just give me the movie and I'll be all set. And so they're going to be missing out on parts of it, and we're going to go nuts. And I don't mind that because it helps clarify what's going on, and you get into the minds of the characters, not only of what they're doing, but why they're doing it.
Why they're doing it, exactly. And they had to do something big, something cataclysmic, if you will, to set up the multiverse of madness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now that was initially a big part of that going to be set up bigger in Wanda. Okay, bigger.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it quite that way. And I hate to keep bringing up the past episodes, but I think you got to understand some things on that to get here. Doctor Strange was the one who was supposedly trying to contact Wanda through the commercials, right? Yeah. So if you start piecing all those together, what was the last commercial we saw? The Nexus.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we know that Wanda's a Nexus being, which means she's the same in any universe because she's so OP.
Yes.
Right? And she is, according to the Darkhold, stronger than the Sorcerer Supreme.
Correct.
So I think, and this is just me, I think Loki's series is starting to shatter that timeline, right? So that it opens that multiverse up. And then Wanda is going to step in and maybe not be the villain, but be one of the main people who who Doctor Strange has to stop or has to join him in order to stop whatever's coming. It's It's gonna be
Yeah.
and it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
I agree with you 100%. I think she's going to start off as a villain, and then and I say villain, but as a bad guy,
Right.
or the one that needs to be stopped, because she's just going to lose control. The kids are gone, Vision's gone, and she has all this inner turmoil that's going on. I think and then at the end, they're going to reveal who the actual big bad is that they're going to face, I guess, in the next Avengers one, but it's going to be almost a completely set new group.
So okay. So that being said, all right. So let's go back to Loki. So we're gonna. You know what my dad used to say? He used to say we're gonna have to go around the barn to come back in the front door because what you just opened was the front door, right? So let's go around the barn a little bit so we can get there. So in episode 1, we get introduced to the time police.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It was funny when he first gets pulled in. Right. That shot with you've just been slowed down, but you feel everything in real time was so funny. I had started to break out into like a little bit of sweat because I felt like he was I felt like it was going to the DMV.
Mm.
Right. So like you have to take the number and you got to stand in line.
Yeah.
Right. And then we see the bratty kid get vaporized.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And Loki's like, yeah, I'll take a number. Right. Yeah, I'll take the number. Also, that next scene when he's in the elevator and the machine don't touch this. This is fine, Asgardian leather. And he's naked, right? So they really did a great job of taking him off of his high horse
mm-hmm.
and bringing him down. So I have a question for you, Dave. Knowing that you're in the chat and that you're a big in this Loki too, what do you guys think the circles mean? Did you notice that in every room inside the bureau, there is a circle pattern
mm-hmm.
somewhere in the room, and when they're not in a circle pattern on the walls or whatever, they're in a hallway that's curved in a circular pattern. What do you think? Do you think that's something major, or do you think that's just
It's a representation of time. As they say, or time or history repeats itself. So it will come back around. It may be a little bit different, but similar events are going to happen as it comes around.
It's funny. It's funny that you said that because it just hit me as you were saying it. When he was standing in front of the judge, right, and all the circles were everywhere, did you notice the carpet was circles and then it was split, circles that were split in half?
Yep.
That's awesome because those show the variant, right?
Yes.
That time was broken, which is how you're my new hero, dude. My brain is just went.
You have that one, and then I was messing around today with a chart for work, and we have to include different processes.
Okay.
So I'm in the oil field, working in the oil field, and do some engineering and process design and things like that. So when you have a process that's here, and then a process that's here, and a process that's there, sometimes you have that intersection where everything meets.
Right.
And that's your nexus right there. So you have this universe, this universe, this universe. Where are they all going to converge? And where's that point? And it's that little shaded spot right in the center. So I was thinking about that. And then when you said, what does a circle mean? I was like, well, you know what? It could be time. So
yeah,
two different things.
Dave, I think Dave agrees with you on that. He's also on the same page with us. I was thinking something similar to that as well, but I was just like, they're everywhere, mm-hmm. and that makes perfect sense on why. And I like your analogy. It makes great sense. So, what did you think about the cartoon?
Miss Minute.
Miss Minute, yeah.
Oh man, I loved it in the first episode. I was like, oh well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty clever. And then in the second one, when you realize that it's actually more like an AI type
Uh-huh.
thing, then that can bounce here, there, or everywhere, and then goes into the computer. I'm like, what was that? Like I had to rewatch it just to,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, wow. All right.
And I love the fact that the computers are like Commodore 64s or something like that. It cracks me up because
Yeah.
everything's got that futuristic feel, but it also has the um, um, that aesthetic of like the 60s.
Hmm.
That retro, which I think is a really cool play. So I'm with you. I'm with you.
Well, if you think about that, and all the symbolisms and everything that was in WandaVision from the old shows, and
Yeah.
then here we are in the time, the TVA, and it's like we step back into a WandaVision episode, with all the computers and the way that everybody behaves and the dim lighting, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's perfect. We get an I agree from Mara as well. I think she's right there with us on this. So here's so all right. So I'm asking questions and you're answering. So let's just keep going this way.
Yeah, why not?
All right. So later in that same episode, when he finally gets Loki in to watch the video camera of his life. How did you like that scene? How did you like the way that was portrayed?
It hit me right in the feels, man. To watch, and you mentioned how great Hiddleston is as Loki. To watch his facial expressions, because he's technically seeing this for the first time,
Exactly.
and you could see the anguish and the pain in his eyes as he's watching, and I'm like, wow, okay, yeah, this is a whole next level kind of
Yeah, because
show.
you got to keep in mind that this is the Loki that we got from Endgame.
Yeah,
He hasn't at this point in time come to the conclusion that Odin and Thor and basically his whole family love him unconditionally.
yeah,
He's still in the I'm going to kill you and take everything phase of his life. So for him to sit there and have all that emotion pile on him at once, wow,
yeah,
I couldn't imagine what the emotional pain and turmoil he would have had to been going through because had he seen those things after he became more of the hero than the anti-hero version of
mhm,
Loki, I think it would have been easier. It'd have been painful, but not as painful for him to get smacked in the face with it the way he was, which
yeah,
is why you saw the tear wheel up in his eye.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and and
yeah.
and, and I also loved, and I can't remember if it was the first one or the second one. Dave, let us know on this when he admitted that he did not like hurting people.
Um,
I think it was during this same section when
I
he
believe so.
when he said, "I have to because it's a part of the character that I portray."
Hmm.
That showed also a big leap in character for him.
Right. Yeah. And it just, it reminded me that, he may be an anti hero, but he still wants to have that approval, even if it's approval, of himself or his brother or somebody,
He
you
needs
know,
someone to pat him on the back.
right, right.
Dave
And
said it was episode 1, so we're right where we're at.
okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's between him and uh, Morbius. I guess it's Morbius and Morbius. Owen Wilson really surprised me with his portrayal.
I can't tell you how surprised I was because at first I was like, okay, I like Owen Wilson. This should be interesting. Their chemistry together and the way they bounce off of each other,
Yeah.
I was just I was like, I was giggling 1 second and I was all the next.
Yeah.
When Loki, being Loki, he's like, I'm going to burn this place to the ground. And Morbius immediately goes, well, let me show you where my desk is. You can start there. I was like, that's perfect. That type of banter is perfect with Loki.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was great. And I was like, man, are we going to get like a Wedding Crashers type, Owen Wilson, or
I'm glad we're not.
yeah. I'm like, because that would if you would have played it, that campy, it just would have, it just would have felt weird.
I feel like that there's I feel like Morbius has an agenda. We just don't know what that agenda is yet, because you kind of get this dark feeling from him.
Yeah. I think I have an idea on that. We might get into that later, but that's
okay. Let's wait till we kind of get to the end of two, and we'll throw a little bit of speculative theory at each other.
Right. All
right. So there is one other thing that I do want to show you. We kind of skipped over this. Do you remember this scene early on?
Yeah.
Did you see who that was in the lower right hand corner?
There's a lot of speculation on that, and yeah,
it's gotta be.
That's after seeing the shirt, I was like, in the hairstyle, I'm like, are either they're just really playing mind games, or
which is very possible.
Yeah, or that's actually her, and I wasn't sure if. I couldn't tell if she was. I guess she was a variant that had come through.
I'm wondering. Okay, this is theory and speculation. I know we were going to do that at the end, but I'm wondering if when, like they said, it was okay that the Avengers did the time leap, right? Because that was part of the plan.
Mm-hmm.
But was it part of the plan for Cap to stay?
Right.
And did they somehow? Did maybe Peggy somehow, to save Cap, switch places with him and became a variant?
Yeah,
I don't know. That's a hard one, man. You could literally write essays on just this one little plot point.
Right. Yeah. And I've seen people say, "Oh, that was just it was a red herring." That really wasn't her. And I'm like, if it is, it's a very good one, because it's exactly what it would look like. Those pictures when you had it, side by side. I mean, how can you say it's not?
Well, and that's just it though. But Marvel is so good at leading you. Here's the carrot. Come get it. Come get it. Come get it. Come get it. And right when you're getting there, going, yeah, no, this ain't the carrot you want, right? Real quick, I'd like to take a second. Josh Anderson, thank you so much for stopping by. I know that you had to work tonight. If Josh was able to get off, he would have been on the stream with us. I know you had to work tonight, so I really appreciate you taking a minute to stick your head in and saying hello. Stick around as long as you can. We'd love to have your input. Josh is a pretty good lore guy when it comes to Marvel, so I've learned over a few chats, so that's awesome. All right, let's see what he says real quick. Loki has been phenomenal so far. It is so cinematic in its production and storytelling. I absolutely am floored at how huge this show feels in comparison to the last two.
Yes.
I mean the special effects and everything that I've seen so far have been movie grade. I'm with you, Josh. Can't wait to see where it goes. The thing is with it taking place, I've heard a lot of people complain about this too. Oh, now that nothing they've ever done means anything, and then you've changed everything. And I'm like, no. They're in a place where time doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they do inside that the time variance authority, right? Whatever they do doesn't count to anything else.
Yeah,
they can do whatever they want, because all they got to do is go in, do what they want to, and then jump out. Erase the past behind them.
And they mentioned that, and that was one of the main central plot points of the second episode.
Oh yeah,
Loki discovered like, well, they could do whatever they want because that part of the world's going to end anyway. So
So
You
so
know,
let's
so who
let's move
cares?
into the let's move into the second episode. So far, we Josh Anderson. I'm not sure that if you have, but everyone else that's in the room so far, including DJ and myself, have agreed that episode one was fantastic, but episode two actually stepped it up, which was a nice surprise over the last two Disney Plus episodes of Marvel. So let's look at episode two because there's a lot going on here, guys. A lot
Oh
going
yeah.
on. Very happy. So let me ask you real quick on this. Let's see. What did you think about this one right here?
Not who everybody thinks it is.
You know what? Oh, oh, I want to say I agree with you, but I think Marvel is doing that blending thing we were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
How do you like her horn being broke?
That was interesting, and I wanted to see. I was hoping that we'd see a more of it at the very beginning to see, because her and Loki kind of scuffle around a little bit, and I was wondering if it did it break off during the scuffle, or was it broken when it started?
I
So
think it was broken beforehand. I
yeah.
think that's just me. Um, Josh, you were reading our mind. Are you ready? Here's what Josh said. I don't think it's Enchantress like many people do.
See, well, I think it is.
I don't think it is. I think I think they're staying with the Lady Loki, but I think they're kind of doing that mending of character thing
Yeah,
because the powers that she's using is Enchantress's power set.
right.
So I think that's where that blending of powers is coming in.
And very well maybe. And the reason why whole reason why I thought that it was a lot of everyone was, Lady Loki, and yeah, they said Lady Loki. I believe it was even in the credits where the English version said Lady Loki, I believe, or
Yes,
female Loki.
the
Um,
Spanish version said something different.
it did. But even before I heard that one, they kept bringing up Ragnarok. Now, the Ragnarok comic arc brings in Sylvie, or the Enchantress. And so I wanted to go back and was going to watch Ragnarok, the actual movie, just to see if it was mentioned in there at all.
Yeah.
But the Lady Loki at that time wasn't around. It was Enchantress. But I can also see the point of blending. I now that I'm thinking about it, they probably are doing that. They're combining two of them, which they've done lots of times in the past. Combined two big superpowers that appeared different times in the comics to make one story arc. So yeah.
So Josh says he thinks that Loki is ultimately trying to take over the TVA, which he kind of said that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, destroy any other Loki he can. And I think that is a good point, Josh. I think what he will probably do, to be honest with you, is he will probably try his best to bring any of those other Lokis who can help him by his side, and then pull the Loki at the end and twist them out and so forth. Join with them, get what he wants, and then stab him in the back. But he's tired of that, and he will never do that again.
Yeah.
So we jumped way forward in this one. So in two, the action really did pick up.
Mm-hmm.
I also heard a lot of people commenting that they thought that they spotted other characters and other scenes, none of which made sense. But when he did the first time jump with them, right, and they were at the Ren Fair kind of place.
Yeah.
What was your ideas on why he was trying to stretch that time out?
I'm not sure, really. My first thought was he's really trying to get a bearing, and he kept mentioning ears, and I don't know if he heard something like an echo or whatever, and he was just trying to get a fix on it, and was hoping that maybe it would repeat, or I really didn't, I couldn't tell, other than
honestly,
maybe he didn't have a play at that time and he was trying to devise something.
I think he was stalling for two reasons. One, he didn't have a play necessarily in mind, other than the fact he was trying to keep them there beyond the red line. Because once it hits the red line, they can't go back.
Right.
He's now in the world to stay. Right.
Yeah.
He can use his magic. He can do what he needs to do. But I love I love that phrase. I have my paraphrase, but it talks about the hearing, but the teeth are close by. That's a great saying that he used there.
Yes.
So, all right. So they get back. There's a big conversation between Mobius and I can't remember her name, the judge, who's like right below the time.
Right. So, do you know who that was?
What is her name? I do, but I can't.
All right, let me. I'm going to mispronounce it if I don't see it. So let me.
I know who she was originally, but I don't know if she's going to be that now. I know who she is, but I don't know her name. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And Ravana, I believe, is how.
Yeah, and she is the lover of who?
Kang the Conqueror.
Kang the Conqueror, right? Which is another huge Easter egg. Real quick, Josh Anderson did say that he agrees with us the way Loki may trying to bring them together to use them, just like he did with Thanos.
Yes.
Renslayer, love it. Thank you, Josh. Yeah. I knew that you were sticking around for a reason. Although I will say this, I really love the actress who's playing the part. I think she's doing a great job. Although I would have loved to have seen a hot redhead myself because, I like redheads. I'm married to one. So the conversation was really interesting between the two of them. You kind of got the feeling that maybe there was something there more than just boss relationship. I don't know if that means. I don't know if that means anything other than they're just friends. I don't know, but you kind of get this feeling like there's something, and I just can't place what it is. I don't know if it's they were close outside of the work, so to speak, or if maybe there's been an issue between them in the past. I think that'll play out through the series, and we'll kind of get a better understanding of that. Mm-hmm. I'm just not sure. Sure.
It just seemed like every time that she said something, he was there to contradict it. And this is going to go into those wild theories that could possibly happen. But I really, I don't think she is who she says he is. Or the TVA isn't who they say they are. And,
well, when we get into the theories at the end, I'm going to let you know my idea on that.
Yeah, and it's because that interaction that you're referring to. It's just there's something there, and is it that she's doing something and he knows but is trying not to let it on, or is there a relationship there? Or does she know more than what she's letting on about what his mission is? And, there's just something that's off center on there. And it's like, wow, all right, so what are we going to do here? So, but I agree 100%. There's something that's there. We just don't know exactly what yet.
What did you think about his comment when he goes when he's talking about the three of them? He goes, "They're ugly." He goes, "Well, that one guy's kind of not so bad," or something along those lines. I
Yeah.
thought that was funny. So Stefan is my co-host, by the way, and he just dropped in. Help! I've been kidnapped by the Time Variance Authority. Now we know why he's not here.
Right.
All right, and then we've got this. We've got Nicole. Hello, Nicole. How are you? Hopefully, you're doing great tonight. So, all right. So we yeah, boy, so much I want to go to.
Talk about a Nexus event. It's like, which way are we going to? Can you take this and all the theories and wow, yeah. But yeah, so yeah, we get to past their office scene, and she agrees to let them go on this mission. Which I thought was fantastic, the way that they had Loki.
Talk about cinematic.
Yeah.
Right when that hurricane / typhoon, I think it was cyclone was coming in. Oh my God, that was awesome! Now I can't remember off the top of my head what was the name of the on the building.
Rex Stop.
Let's see. Keep everyone talking here while I Google.
Yeah, but I agree. Yeah, that was fantastic animation that they had going on there, and just I'm just stunned by how well done this whole thing is. Roxcart.
Thank you. I knew it was Rock something. Of course, Josh, I'm looking at it, and two people in the chat are saying, "I think it's this." Thank you, Thank you, Nicole, and of course, thank you, Josh. So, Roxcart, Josh, Nicole, let me know. Weren't they kind of a kind of like a super corp that's been going on through Marvel for some point in time, and that Josh just answered that question. You ready? Definitely ties to the Roxxon Corporation. Excellent. Thank you, Josh. We got another question. In your opinion, what makes Loki tick? All right, so we're going to hold on to that question when we get to the theory portion at the end. We're almost there. So we know that Loki goes in, and we see that. Are we going to call her Lady Loki, or are we going to call her Enchantress, or a little bit of both?
Lady Loki's fine.
Lady Enchantress Loki. She takes over the minute. And I love the name of it, by the way, the Minute, the Time Cops. I love that. We actually just said that earlier, Josh. You're absolutely correct. Stefan, I'm going to give you your prime answer right here. Josh Anderson says Loki is driven by the feelings of inadequacy. Thank you. Because he's always seeking someone else's approval. He's always seeking someone else to tell him he's good enough. Anyway, so they're in there. Enchantress is taking these people over. She's talking to Loki. She's kind of getting him going. Nicole says that she believes he's driven by power. I think it's the desire of power, because the power is what gets him noticed. That's his way of saying, "Look at me." So they're doing that, and we're getting this great exposition amongst the action, which was kind of a cool way to do it. Were you surprised by the reveal, though, when she dropped her hood?
No.
I was not either. I kind of knew it was coming. But that being said, what did you think about her kidnapping the one girl and taking her with her?
There's got to be a reason for it, and I'm going to have to watch.
This was earlier in the episode that she was kidnapped, by the way.
Yeah, and number 20.
Yeah.
and I'm gonna have to watch again. I didn't know. I couldn't tell if there's got to be something, and I want to listen to when 20 is rescued. She's saying something.
She's saying, "I want to go home."
Oh, okay.
She's also saying, "It's all true. It's all true. I want to go home." And when they said to her, "We'll take you back to the TVI," she said, "No, no, I want to go home."
Hmm. So there's something that's
There's
there.
there's huge something there. Are you ready? You ready? Here we go. This is what makes him so dangerous now, because with both parents gone and Thanos betraying him, Loki has no one to seek approval from but himself. Absolutely wonderfully correct, Josh. Man, I tell you what, there's twice tonight I've had my mind just scrambled like eggs on a plate. Just fantastic, fantastic. You're getting an I agree from Nicole. You're right, because at this point, but you know what? I'm going to say this. Let me throw a little bit of a monkey wrench in on this. Right before he stepped through that portal, he stopped and he looked back at Morbius. And it wasn't the normal watch what I'm going to do, ha ha, Loki. It was the what should I do, Loki. That look on his face was like, I think that right now what's going to really happen is that there's going to be a bond between him and Morbius, and he's going to try to find his recognition through Morbius. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but there's a theory I have on why that's going to happen, and we'll get there in just a minute.
Yeah, and as far as that look, I wasn't sure if it was a I know what I'm doing look, or if it was a we've connected, and I'm sorry, but I have to do this look. And
I think it's maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I like that. After the first episode, I thought only time would tell if Loki would become the dynamic duo. That will save the sacred timeline. Very, very good stuff. I will tell you this, bud. I don't think they're going to save the timeline.
No.
I don't think they're going to, and we'll get to that also. All right, so we've discovered that it's a female Loki. We've discovered that her plan so far, which we don't know the whole plan, is to destroy the timeline to create all the variants.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think she did that? Why do you? As far as keeping within the parameters of episode 2, why do you think she would do that?
Chaos and confusion, which being Lady Loki, that's her MO. It's everything is chaos and confusion, and whatever with the timeline so skewed, it's going to be that much harder to track where she is and what she's doing. And so disrupt the timeline, she could basically go and do whatever she needs to do now that they've discovered, hey, look for the apocalyptic events, and that's probably where you'll find her. Now she has carte blanche to do whatever she wants.
Well, not only that, but she's created so many timelines that the Minutemen are basically leaving the TVA empty.
Yeah,
she could walk right in and do whatever she wants.
Right. That's a good yeah.
She could, because right now the only one there to save her is a couple of guards and what was her name, Josh? I've totally lost it now. The judge.
Yeah.
Stefan, I like this comment. Ever deceitful trickster retains the backstabbing nature that has defined him across all timelines and realities. And I would say yes to that, but I think he was. I think that part of him may be broken a little bit because of the, like we talked about before, of seeing that Thanos deceived him and that his that Odin died and his mom died and that Thor gave everything to save him. And he had that tear. So yeah, Josh Anderson makes a great point here. Hard to speculate because we don't know what Marvel's intentions are. Is this show to perpetuate Loki's character in the future, or give him a proper send off? Man, don't talk like that, Josh. Man, don't talk like that. Do you guys think the Sebastian Stan will play Luke Skywalker? You're killing me, dude. I want to jump on these questions with both feet. Dave, hang tight. I promise we'll go there. I promise. Good question, Josh. I definitely feel that Loki's show could be connected to other upcoming shows, movies. I agree. Oh, I think it's the one that starts it all.
Yeah.
Between this and a little bit of Wanda, I think this is the one that starts it all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they will recast the original characters, but a Luke series with Stan isn't impossible. We'll get to that in just a minute, guys, because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm as much as I love Marvel, I'm a Star Wars guy. I saw A New Hope in the theaters on first release before it was A New Hope. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're down to the end. All right, everybody in the chat. I think everyone here has seen Loki, but we ask a question on our channel. The question's a simple one. Based on the conversation that you've heard tonight between the people in the chat room, the people here hosting tonight, would you press play on this one? Or is this a show that you would walk away from?
This is a continuous press play, rewind and watch it again and catch the 90 billion things that you missed the first, few hundred times that you've watched it. But yeah, it's an amazing series. Marvel has not let us down at all. The only thing that I'm really kind of disappointed in is that it is only 6 episodes.
But if they keep going with these longer episodes, it's like watching 2 movies.
Yeah, I know. But it's just like I already know that when we get to the end, I'm not going to want it to end. And, it's like, oh, man, now we're going to have to wait, 6 months or 3 months to the next piece of the puzzle drops. And I'm like, man, all right.
Nicole, we agree with you on that. We've actually were talking about that right before you came on earlier. So, says Josh is not old; it's levels and experience. She is one of my new favorite people. Thank you so much, Nicole. Mara is saying awesome. Press play again. For sure. All right. So now, everybody, this is the part where we get into theories. You said you had something that you wanted to share with us. Give it to me. What do we got?
Oh man, where to begin? All right. So yeah, just wild theories thrown out there. The TVA is under the control of Kang. He is the one that needs the timeline, according to the comics anyway. He wants to make sure he comes out on top. So with his time abilities, he makes sure that he does come out on top. And any interference with his sacred timeline is dealt with by the TVA. So technically, they're the bad guys.
I think Loki can be connected to Fantastic Four multiverse. Well, Kang's already said that the Fantastic Four is already kind of hinting that Kang is going to be, the big bad. Although I was really hoping for Doom, but it still may be. I think that Morbius really understands that what is going on is wrong. That every time a timeline is demolished, that billions of lives are being snuffed out like this. Okay. I think that there's going to be a point in time where he is going to, um, team with Loki and put the TVA in its place. That's my theory.
I have another one for you.
Well, I've also heard people say that they believe that he may be Kang himself.
Who's that? Morbius?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a feeling it's not Kang. I have a feeling he's a Loki variant.
Oh.
Why is he?
Oh, I love it! I love it. That would be awesome.
Why is he so set on Loki being the answer if he wasn't a Loki variant?
All right, so here's something for you to think about. What if they're all variants? Not necessarily all variants of Loki, but they're all variants of someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
That have been brain wiped or washed or whatever you want to call it, right? And he's remembering his life in the 90s. That's the reason he's got the thing with the jet skis and he drinks the 90s sodas and all that stuff, maybe through dreams or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's why 80 was saying it's all true, because her memories all came flooding back and she wants to go home.
Right.
I don't know. Could be good. Spider-Man teaser with multiverse glitch. Yes, we have. Thank you. All right, so Loki, I have never stabbed anyone in the back. Mobius, wait a minute, you ready? Mobius, you've like stabbed people in the back like 50 times. It's gotten old. I'll never do it again. Let's see here, Nicole. Ooh, that's possible. So many things can happen. That's what's awesome about the show. So many possibilities. You are correct. So, is there anything else you'd like to say about Loki tonight?
Let's see. Today's Thursday, so 6 more days until
we get to do it again.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's too long. But that's just me being selfish. I actually really like the way that they are doing it, dropping it by week rather than the Netflix way of, here's the season, binge watch it in 4 hours, then you have to wait for a year to get the next chapter. So I don't mind it, but
I will be honest with you. I think WandaVision would have worked better if they'd have dropped it, and you could have binged it. I think it would have worked a little better. But this episode, this way, absolutely not. Nicole is saying that she's been saying for a long time Spider-Man will be connected to the multiverse of madness.
Yeah.
But which version of Spider-Man? Dun, dun, dun. All right, so hey, listen, guys, real quick before we go in, because apparently Dave likes Star Wars. We're going to talk a little bit of Star Wars tonight because he's been asking for it all night. But before we do that, I want to share something with you. Tonight is the first night I've ever done this. We're adding a segment, Stefan. Pay attention. We're adding a segment called Around the Net. And what Around the Net is very simply just it's when I see or Stefan sees or one of our subscribers sees something on the net that they on YouTube that they think that we should share with our followers and our community. If you guys have never seen Larry the Stormtrooper, Larry the Stormtrooper is how you find it on YouTube. He does all of his own cartoon animations. He writes all of his own scripts. The episodes are anywhere from a minute to 5 minutes a piece. They are some of the funniest things I have ever seen. I will tell you, I stumbled across Larry the Stormtrooper. The episode was called "What If a Stormtrooper Was a Karen?" or something along those lines. Karen the Stormtrooper. Karen the Stormtrooper. There were 3 episodes. I was lucky enough that I actually caught the one where all 3 of them were tied together, and I fell down a rabbit hole, and I watched him for hours. off and on through the same day. I get busy, I turn it off, I go do what I need to do, and when I got a free minute, I come back and watch it again. So you guys have got to check out and subscribe to Larry the Stormtrooper. I did reach out to him and tell him that that I was going to mention him on my show tonight, and I wanted to be sure to let you guys know. Funny, funny, funny stuff. Okay,
Awesome.
so around the net, check out Larry the Stormtrooper, and do me a favor. After you've checked him out, come back to this particular cast and leave me a comment and let me know whether or not you found that I was right or wrong on Larry. Okay. I did, like I said, I did reach out to him. I got his permission to talk about it.
Nice.
So Josh Anderson, real quick, he's got something here that we're all loving and hating at the same time. He believes that Wanda is going to be the next big bad. We did talk about that a little bit earlier. I think that you're right to a point, but I also think it's going to be one of those things where Doctor Strange kind of gets to her, helps her harness her powers, and then they go against whatever the next bigger, banner foe is. And it's funny because I told you WandaVision I loved, and then it kind of fell off for me right at the very end, just because I thought it could have been so much bigger. But that show made Wanda one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
I absolutely love her. Loki is the mischievous Jedi. I agree with you. All right, Dave, you had a question early on. Let me jump back up in the chat here and see if I can't find it real quick. I told you that I would be more than happy to jump back to it. All right.
Did you find it?
He says, it's a little off topic, but what are you all excited about more, Ahsoka series or Obi-Wan series? I have a dual answer. I have a dual answer on that.
Both.
Yeah, but there's a reason why, and I'll explain. But go ahead, DJ. What do you think?
Man, I think I'm honestly a little more excited for Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can necessarily say why. It's one of those things that, it's like you. I mean, I've started from when Star Wars was Star Wars and not A New Hope. And I've been following it ever since. And this character of Obi-Wan has always filled me with such intrigue and possibilities. And when Lucas came out with the prequel trilogy, and you saw how close that Anakin and Obi-Wan truly were, I would, and I was like, all right, well, now he goes to,
but I failed you, my brother.
he's got Luke, and he's going to keep a watchful eye. But what does that mean? And now we're finally going to get to see what that entails. So I would have to say that one. Although Ahsoka with a new character, as being a new character, is one of my favorite new characters. I absolutely love it. Mm-hmm. I really can't wait for that, but I think I want to see Obi-Wan just a hair more.
All right, so I'm going to agree with you on this. Okay, Kenobi has been ever since we first saw him hit the screen in the original Star Wars. There on Tatooine, man, he was, such an older, wiser, and then we see in the prequels where we get to see him as a badass Jedi warrior. I will say this. I am very fearful about Kenobi. Because if they screw this up, Disney, if you have anyone out there that's listening to us fans right now, I'm going to tell you, if you screw up Kenobi, we will leave like rats leaving a sinking ship. Be careful. He is the man to a lot of us. Now, that being said, Ahsoka is my favorite character, probably of any of the new characters, like you said. And she's a pretty close second to Luke to me. because her storyline, the way she started, and we hated her, right? That first movie, you're like, oh my
Yep.
God, what did they do? But she has the best overall story arc of any character
Mm-hmm.
because you actually see, so I love her. I love everything about her. There's nothing about the Ahsoka character that I don't like. I think that Filoni is like, right? It, it's just awesome. It's
Yeah,
just awesome. So I love them both. Um, as
that's a tough
far as
question.
as far as this rumor is concerned, and a lot of actors will tell you stuff to throw you off the trail, but Liam Neeson said he is not signed to appear in Star Wars. And I think it's funny that he used the word appear in that sentence because I think that we're going to get him voice acting more than actually on screen. I could be wrong. And I'm right with you on this, Josh. I don't know about Maul in this one because Vader is definitely going to be in it.
Well, did Liam Neeson say Star Wars or did he specifically say Kenobi?
He said Star
Be-
Wars.
okay, so there's another clue. He's not going to be in Star Wars, but he could be in Kenobi.
Yeah, but it's still going to be Kenobi, a Star Wars story.
Ah, I don't. It's he'll. I think he's going to be in it. He'll be a Force ghost. We'll get to see that again. Just like Andrew Garfield's like, oh no, I'm not going to be in Spider Man, and Tobey Maguire, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
okay,
Right, right.
whatever.
So real quick, Dave, which one are you more psyched out for? Are you more psyched out for Kenobi, for Ahsoka, or are you more of a dark side acolyte fan? I'm thinking that acolyte's going to be cool.
Ooh, Acolyte.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're not saying anything about it, but I mean, it's going to be the first time we're going to get to see what a. I'm with you, Dave. I really am. Um, it'll be the first time we've got to see a Sith version of a Padawan, right? Or not, but to see that type of training and stuff is going to be really cool. It's going to be really cool. All right, guys. I hate to do this. We are an hour and 10 minutes in. I know that we DJ has come on tonight. Really, just you guys have no clue. 3-4 hours ago. He's like, yeah, I can come help, and he showed up and has been fantastic. I can't tell you how fantastic, but you have been a great guest.
Well, I appreciate that. Anytime that we get to talk about the things that we love, is a great day. So when you put the call out, I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'll jump on that. And man, I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Would you consider what my co-host and I, Stefan, were talking about is every other week doing a 2 week recap
Mm-hmm.
on Loki? Would you consider coming on in the future?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I'll keep your information because I'd love to have you. Nicole, you're right. It's been a great show. Not patting myself on the back. That's because I have a guest and I have people in the stream who are willing to get involved and further the conversation. So, just so everyone's aware, Press Play Steering Studios, every Thursday night, we're here reviewing movies, TV, pop culture. Like I said, we're going to try to get more and more of this around the net going to kind of introduce you to content creators who are out there doing wonderful projects for everybody to enjoy. I've already got one in my mind that I'm going to use for next week, and I've already talked to the content provider information as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun. That way you guys can see some new content. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Give it a little tickle, tickle, tickle if you haven't already. And come back and join us. DJ, I'm going to stick you in the room while I sign off. And if you wouldn't mind, hang around for a couple minutes, okay?
Yeah, not a problem.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like we like to say at the end of our chat is very simply this. Don't let the world get you down. We are here and we are always your friends, and you're welcome to come talk to us anytime. So grab your favorite drink, grab a big old pail of popcorn, sit back, and remember to press play. Good night, everybody. Appreciate you coming by. Thank you so much.